All right, if you look at the top of your presentation sheet, everybody, there's the thing called system observations. Those are the problems that people see. Now I want you to understand that there's a certain format I want you to follow when you do this. There's line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4. Everybody see that? On the top line, when you do your observations, I want you to start the observation process while you're diagnosing. So here's what it looks like. By the way, when you go into the house, we didn't talk about this. When you go into the house, how much stuff do you think I want you to bring with you? What's important to bring with you? Nothing. Don't go anything. If I go in with something, it kind of indicates that I'm ready to work. In the convince me step, I shouldn't be ready to work yet, right? I got to figure out if it's a good time to work or not today. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I thought we're just looking at it, right? Otherwise, why would I bring my tools with me? So don't bring your tools. Maybe a 6-in-1 nut driver with a flashlight. Let's just look the situation over. Then I'm going to, customers say, where's your tools? So, well, John, let me look at the system first and see. I'm not even sure what I'm doing here today. So let's figure out what I'm doing here, and then I'll see what tools I should bring in. So here's the game plan. You go to the door, do a convince me step, do the danger line, look at the equipment, then tell the customer I'm going to have to get my tools and come back and do some diagnosing. I'll be right back. When you come back, bring whatever tools you need for diagnosing. Bring your clipboard with the presentation sheet like we have here on top of it. Maybe have your price book inside your clipboard too, so you're ready to go. You can price this stuff out. Because you want to get going on this stuff while you're diagnosing. While you're diagnosing is a great time to start making solutions. Use some synergy here, guys. Don't diagnose and then say, oh, now I got to go write it up. Write it up while you diagnose. This way you don't got to do the job twice, right? So your diagnosis starts with your observations. What are you observing? You're observing the age and neglect. So line 1, if you want to write down there for yourself, you want to just make a note for yourself. On the top line, the first thing you make an observation of is the age of the system. Age, and then the stage of neglect that the system is in. So if I'm an electrical contractor, I look at electrical panel, let's say an old Federal Pacific in 1976. How old is that system? 33 years old. Main electrical system, 33 years old. And how has it been neglected? Has anybody worked on it or balanced the load or any of that type of stuff? No maintenance done on system, right? It's been neglected. How about the design of the system? What would be a design? Line number 2. Design and installation. Is it perfect? I don't know. When's the last time you saw the perfect installation? When's the last time you saw the perfect design that people have out there? Maybe when you did it. But other than that, is the unit's level? It's got limestone underneath the unit. It's level pad. The line set is sized correctly. The design of the way the thing is sitting 18 inches away from the home or more, right? It's got to have a clearance out there. That's all under its proper design. If you had the manual in front of you, on a furnace, the pipes coming out of the sidewall, the termination kit would be perfect. How many times is that not designed right? Yet how few times do we ever change that design, guys? If you said, you guys, check every single 90% furnace and I want every one of these brought back in design, how many presentations would you give if you had 10 furnaces you looked at like that today?
9 or 10.
Probably 8 to 10, 8 to 9. Probably 8 or 9 would be wrong, wouldn't they? They're supposed to be 12 inches above snow grade. How far above snow grade is it usually?
Below.
It's usually below. It's about 4 inches away from the ground, right? They may have them mixed up. They may have the intake facing down and the output facing down and the intake facing up. We see it all the time, right, guys? Design, installation, that's line 2. Line 3, customer awareness and the problem. So the problem is only the end of number 3. And number 4, line number 4, is your wild card or upgrades. Those are things you want to offer that are kind of upgraded situations that have nothing to do with the problem. You with me on this, guys? So what would it look like on a 14-year-old air conditioning unit? Go ahead and read your observations to me. I'll go ahead and do it for you first. Here's what it looks like to me. I get to a job and I'm looking at this thing. I look at the system. First thing I look at the serial number of this thing. Tells me the age of the equipment. It's 1986. How old is that? 23 years old. So I got system 23 years old. I look at the maintenance of the system. I already asked about that maintenance before, right? When I first got here, who maintains the system? How often do you have it maintained? That type of stuff. I'm asking about it. So I should know about the maintenance record, right? Now, if it has been maintained every year by some other company, I look and see, now I'm in the position to look and see what kind of job they did. What am I likely to see? A good job? Not by some guy who's been mailing it in for the last 20 years, right? Some guy who's been like, he thinks he got this thing made and he's not even worried about it. He probably shows up and does a little whistle Dixie on the thing, gets out of here. You know what I'm talking about? What am I going to see in the leaves inside the unit? Am I going to see a bunch of leaves in there? Am I going to see a bunch of cobwebs and rat's nests and hay inside the unit? Looks like a rabbit trail inside this, like a hamster lives inside this unit. You know what I'm talking about? So you're going to pull it apart, look at it. You're going to look at the maintenance. What are you going to say about the maintenance? Probably it's not going to be good. If it's very well maintained, be honest with yourself. I'm not going to say always tear it apart. It might be good. Maintained very well. 23 years old, maintained very well. Could be like that. 23 years old, maintenance done, but done poorly. That's your observation, right? Just you're an umpire. You got to call it like you see it. There's no gray area here. Be certain about what you're seeing. Design, check the design. The airflow of the system, have you checked the ductwork and the size of the ductwork? Every single time you go on a call, you should be checking the return air duct of the system. The supplies are usually going to be okay. Everybody knows that a window needs to have a supply. You're going to have usually more than enough supply of ducts. But how often are return ducts restricted out there?
80% or more.
About 70–80% of the time, you're going to have a return duct that's restricted. And I doubt that the design of a system is ever perfect as far as airflow goes. Do you know airflow? Do you know how to do it? You better learn. 400 CFM per ton every single time. Check the return drop, see how many returns we got in the house, check the amount of CFM, it better equal the amount of tonnage we got. Every single house has got to be checked on that, right? If you're a plumber, you got to check the pipe sizing. If you're an electrician, it's the wire sizing. It's all got to be checked. It can't be, the system design is important. Somebody might have put a 100 amp panel with a 60 amp wire coming from the municipal and never changed it. Some homeowner might have did it himself, right? You have all kinds of stuff that might be out of design. Just think about what you're trying to do here, guys. Now, the fourth thing is the third line is the customer awareness and the problem. Customer awareness is very simple. If you never asked the customer what they would like, or I never tried to create curiosity or desire, you don't know what the customer's viewpoint is on it. What does it tell you should do on line number 3? Before you start ending your presentation. Before you start creating solutions, the critical line on this one is which one? Line number 3, part 1. So we got top line is age and neglect. Second line is design and installation faults, right? The third line is customer awareness faults, or what his choices are in the situation. If we don't have an idea what the customer's choices are, what their awareness of the situation is, can I fill that line in right now? I haven't even talked to anybody. So if I can't talk to somebody, what can I put in there? Should I leave it blank? Or what should I do? Start talking, Chief. Go ask them questions. You need to get up there and ask them questions. John, let me ask you a question about the system. This system's cooled the second floor, so you got the problem with the design with the return. You got the problem with the fault and the line set's 5/8 and it should be 7/8. You never seen that before? Come on, you ever seen a 3/4 inch line where it should have been 7/8? How about R410A units? You got a 5 ton with a 50-foot run. How big should a line set be? Well, how many of those have you seen put in? What you're seeing a lot of out there is a lot of 4-ton installations with 5-ton systems right now. You know what I'm talking about? You got a 50-foot line set which should be 1 1/8 and it's really 7/8 right now. You're only getting 4 tons and actually about 3.75 tons on that 5-ton unit right now. You understand this? You're just letting it go. You're walking past it again. Not when I show up, because when I show up I'm going to say, how come Mike missed this? Who's the guys out here? His name was Mike. How come he didn't catch this? I don't know. He just didn't bring it up. I guess he's just not as smart as you are, Joe. Thank you for those kind comments. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say thank you. Because you're done right now. You're cooked. You didn't see it. You saw it, but you didn't do anything about it. Some kind of problem like that has got to be put down on paper. You with me on this, guys? Now, customer choice. What do I find out? I got the problems, right? I got the age, neglect, design, installation. They're all problems here. I got the problem itself. I see the problem. It's the 5th thing on line, the 6th thing on line number 3. Age and neglect on the first line. Design and installation on the second line, customer choice, and the problem. I can put the problem down what it is. I know what it is probably, low on refrigerant. You know, I put down mechanical fault and refrigerant containment system. That's my fault on the end of line 3. I don't know what the customer's opinion of this is first though. Let's go back up and ask him some stuff on this. Hey, Jane, let me ask you a question. How long has this been happening? Is this the first time this has gone on like this? You need to find out, is this a serial problem with refrigerant loss? Or is it only a one-time shot in the blue? I mean, right? Isn't it important to know what people think here? If it's a serial problem, we need to figure this thing out. We can't just be sitting there juicing them up and then hoping for the best, right? If they never had the problem before, then I got to wonder what happened? Why has it never had a problem before, and all of a sudden we lost like half the charge in this thing? Isn't that correct, guys? That makes your diagnosis continue at that point, if that's the case. That's where the observations are important. Now, the fourth line is called the wildcard page, the wildcard line. That's something I see people could benefit from. What could people benefit from almost every time? You see, give me some things that you got your short list of things that people could benefit from if they just knew that you had something on this.
Air quality.
Air quality is one. That includes humidification or filtration of some sort, right? With also the filter package is part of it there too. That's your filter package and all the stuff like that go with it. Could they always benefit from service, maintenance? Well, let's say that they always buy maintenance for every last 23 years. They always buy it every year. So would it be a shock to offer them a 5-year package if you buy it every year for 20 years? How about if you never bought it? Would I be justified in saying you should have a 5-year package because you never buy it, and you should get a, so you don't have to remember to call me anymore? I should just give you a 5-year package right now? Service is always in play. That's always one of the wild cards. You could say, need to get on maintenance program, right? And then you offer that in your top option down there, right? So service is there, air quality is there. What else is in place? What's on your short list of things like that? How about safety issues? Safety is always in place too, right? Are you always justified in saying life safety protection system with the carbon monoxide alarms? Are you always justified in saying flood protection if you got a flood issue? And John, in your case, if you got a no drip leg or safety issues or grounding protection or GFIs in the house that are not there, plumbers are the same way. They have safety issues and clean outs and things that are not there for the drainage system. They're always justified to bring things back to its safest condition. You never have to worry about being on code about that. There's no code that says that. The code is, I care for your life. That's why I'm offering it to you, right? Those are the wild cards you could offer there. Now, you probably have other things in your arsenal too. But if you have those three things alone are valuable, aren't they? Air quality, service, safety, even water quality if you're plumbing. Water quality. I sell a lot of reverse osmosis and water softening systems as a plumber. Electricians, what kind of things? Surge protection, electrical quality, I guess you could call it. Surge protections, you could make it the quality of life, make sure that there is if there's a bunch of outlets where you're plugging 1 million outlets into a couple of different outlets here, you could redo and renovate this area so all these outlets could go into this one control system of all these outlets. Make it more appropriate so you don't have all this stuff all over the floor, right? A generator package, right? It could be a backup package for a generator, electrical generation package, right? A safety, light outage package, right? All right, so when you're going to go through your system observations, here's what it sounds like. It sounds like, John, we have an electrical panel. Here's what I'm seeing here. We have a 36-old electrical panel system. Now, obviously, nobody's looked at this thing. You said you haven't even hired an electrician before. The only thing you did have is an electrician who was out here for a remodeling job one time. Unfortunately, he designed his addition to the electrician wrong. He started piggybacking on top of breakers that really made a mess of the system. Right now we have several arcing spots on this main box, and this panel is known for fire hazard because of its age and because of its lack of design of longevity. It's had this kind of a problem. So my greatest fear is that we have this system here that's been designed the wrong way with people adding on to it, as well as some manufacturer design faults on this thing as well too. And they've had several recalls on this type of situation. And John, what did you say yourself to me before about, remember you mentioned before about the lights in that bedroom? What are they always doing in that bedroom whenever you turn the TV on in there? What happens to the lights in there every time?
They look dim.
And how about when the fan, you said the fans, the ceiling fans go on, what happens to the lights in the bedroom?
They get dim.
Exactly. You see what's going on here? We're causing small electrical shorts and small electrical arcs inside this panel. And it's literally burning your panel off from the inside out. Okay, so we have electrical fault inside the voltage delivery system. You said it yourself. You weren't happy with the way this thing is performing. So that's the customer's choice I'm throwing into this. You see, I did the whole thing: age, neglect, design, installation, customer choice, and boom, I did it all just like that. That's how quick it went. I'm done with my observations. Wild card, I'll throw a wild card or two. Plus, John, here's the thing that really alarms me. You got this kind of inadequate panel that's designed in 1976. and you got all these brand new state-of-the-art appliances. Your KitchenAid dishwasher over here. You've got this double convection oven over here. You get the plasma TV and that Bose stereo system, all with solid-state circuitry in it. Guess what's going to happen when this thing starts arcing out and you have the power surge going to those type of components? Joe, they're going to probably burn that stuff. Exactly. You know what? Like what the circuit panels cost for the KitchenAid dishwasher, for instance? Guess what it costs for the circuit board on that thing? Guess know what it costs for that? About $800. Yeah, the whole dishwasher only costs like $750. But the repair panel costs like $800. That's how appliance guys get you. They'll give you the frickin' dishwasher, right? They'll give you the washer and dryer. But the first time the panel goes on you, it costs about the same amount as it does for the whole dishwasher. Are you going to be in the business of replacing your dishwasher? No, just put a new panel on it, even if it costs more. So, anyway, those are surge protection things. Your devices you're going to put in your wild card thing, right? That's what it sounds like when you do that. Those are your systems observations. Now, once you read your system observations, you're going to go right into, this is part of your money warning. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, the money warning, and how the system observations play into this money warning. It's part of the whole dissonance and solution routine.